What if your nomination to contest in an election is rejected? What if you believe it's illegal? Can you rush to the court and stop the election? Or must democracy move on, even if you're wrong? In 1952, a candidate from Namakkal in Tamil Nadu asked the Supreme Court this very question, and the answer changed Indian election law forever. Hello, I'm D. Suresh Kumar, and you're watching Tamil Nadu elections with the Hindu. With the election scene heating up in Tamil Nadu, today we rewind to a landmark Supreme Court case that continues to shape how elections are conducted in India. The NP Ponnuswami versus Returning Officer case of 1952. This was not just about one rejected nomination. It was about whether courts can intervene in elections while they are in progress. In November 1951, India was preparing for its first general elections. Democracy was new. Constitution was barely a year old. In Namakkal, a man named NP Ponnuswami wanted to contest the Madras Legislative Assembly election. But there was a problem. The returning officer rejected his nomination papers. For Ponnuswami, this wasn't just paperwork. It was the end of his political dream before voters even stepped out of their homes. So what did Ponnuswami do? He went straight to the Madras High Court invoking Article 226 of the Constitution, asking for a writ to quash the returning officer's order and allow him to contest. The High Court said, we cannot interfere. Why? Because of Article 329B of the Constitution. That article says no election shall be called in question except by an election petition. Ponnuswami appealed to the Supreme Court. The bench was historic. Chief Justice M. Patanjali Shastri and judges whose names still echo in Indian constitutional law, like Justices Fazil Ali, Justice Mahajan, Mukherjee, S.R. Das, Chandrasekhar Iyer. This wasn't just about one candidate, it was about answering a critical question: can courts interrupt an election once it has begun? Now here is the heart of the case. Ponnuswami's argument was clever and even intuitive. He said an election means the final result. How can rejecting my nomination before polling be called an election? After all, election petitions can be filed only after polling. So surely, he argued, courts should step in before the damage is done. But Justice Fazil Ali, writing for the court, disagreed. The word election, he said, has two meanings. Number one is a narrow meaning, that is the final result. And number two is a wider meaning, that is the entire process from notification, filing of nominations, scrutiny, polling, counting, declaration of results, everything. In constitutional law, election is not an event, it is a process. Justice Ali then answered why courts must stay away mid-election. If courts start correcting errors midway through an election, Justice Ali warned, different high courts may give conflicting orders, election tribunals would become meaningless, and elections would never end. Rejection of a nomination, the court said, is not meaningless, but it is meaningful only later as a ground to challenge the election after it is over. Or as the judgment put it, no election shall be called in question except in the manner prescribed. Ponnuswami lost the case, but Indian election law gained clarity. This judgment became the foundation for later landmark cases like Mohinder Singh Gill versus the Chief Election Commissioner of India, Indira Gandhi versus Raj Narayan. Even today, whenever someone tries to challenge an ongoing election in court, judges cite Ponnuswami's case. The principle is simple but powerful. Let democracy run its course. Challenge it later, not midway. In election season, when nomination rejections and procedural disputes dominate headlines, this 1952 ruling quietly operates in the background. Simply put, born in Namakkal, decided in Delhi, still governing India's electoral battles. Sometimes the most important election battles are not fought in rallies, but in courtrooms. And sometimes the Supreme Court decides not who wins an election, but when democracy must not be stopped. Thank you for watching. I shall meet you in another video.